Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Sports Scene by NGTV. I guess we'll start off with football as usual. The FA Cup was this past weekend. On Saturday, Bournemouth and Southampton was the first game. Yeah. Southampton won that quite easily, 3-0.
Yeah.
I know they were playing a lower league team, but I thought that it would have been a much more competitive game with it being like a derby as well. But West Ham were, Southampton were by far the best team. Then later on in that day, Man City went to Goodison Park and won 2-0. Thought City played well. I thought Everton were playing for penalties, to be honest.
Yeah, they were hanging on, weren't they?
Yeah, I thought I seen a stat during the game, and it was something stupid. Like he was about 25 minutes in, and Everton made about 24 passes, which is it was literally like less than a pass a minute.
Yeah,
we were dominating. I thought we were going to hammer them when they had their third choice keeper in, but he made a few really good saves.
Yeah, he did play pretty well. Didn't he?
Yeah, and then even the goal we scored, when Laporte shot, he kind of took a deflection and then he still tipped it onto the bar. And then obviously Gundogan just nodded it in. But we couldn't break him down for a while. But I'd say we needed to bring some of the, I'd say big boys, but our team seems to be full of world-class players. But we had to bring like Kevin De Bruyne off the bench to see him off and stuff like that. He obviously got the second goal as well. But again, Everton are going to go with another trophy this season.
Yep. It was with the City match. It was a very it's been like a bit of a common trend recently. I remember was it the Wolves match where it's 0-0 all the way up until the 80th minute, and you kind of think, oh, that might end the draw, and then you check your phone, you're like, oh right, City scored 3-4 goals. It was kind of similar with that. I was following the game, and it's 0-0, 0-0 for 80 minutes, and I'm just thinking, oh, Everton might hold on here and take this into extra time, or maybe nick one. And then I got distracted doing something. I look back and it's full time 2-0. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, they defended quite well. I think Ben Godfrey played really well for them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as soon as I think when teams play Man City now and they go a goal behind, they're just it's over pretty much. Which is why sometimes you'll see us be 0-0, and then we'll just go bang bang bang, and then next thing you know we're 3-0 up. But yeah, I thought Everton did play quite well. They defended quite well, but as I say, we just had too much for them, off the bench. They couldn't really bring no one on off the bench, and I said we brought Kevin De Bruyne off the bench and completely changed the game. So
not a bad player to be able to bring off the bench, is it?
That was that. No, it's certainly not. I mean, it just makes me laugh when, obviously, because we make 6-7 changes a game, then you look at our bench and it's just
there's a starting 11 there, basically.
Yeah, I think there was it last season? No, not last season. The season before, and I think Mourinho was jobless, so he was in Sky Sports being a pundit, and he was basically saying someone asked him your predictions for the season, and then he was I think Man City will come top, and he went, and if they could, they'd probably come second with the B team as well. And I was it's probably a good possibility, to be fair. If we could have two teams in that league, they'd probably come first and second.
I would give them a good shot at it. They're definitely a solid squad. I'm stretching out talking about City because I really don't want to talk about United.
Yeah, I mean, moving on to Sunday, it was Chelsea played first, didn't they, against Sheffield United? That was
2-0.
Yeah, that was kind of straightforward. And then I'll let you take over for the
I'm not sure if I want to.
For the last game.
Yeah, so United took on Leicester. They just didn't look good at all. The first goal was absolutely gifted to them. from a mistake from Fred. Playing out from the back as bit us in the arse again, basically. And it was the same old. We just couldn't get anything going. Like, we managed to get it back to 1-1 for half time, and I thought, maybe they'll come to life now. Maybe I'll have a word with them. But the second half, I felt like Leicester were even better. Just could have scored 6 or 7, to be honest. Just woeful, as always. Passes just not connecting. They're trying all these like fancy little flicks, and they're the type of thing that come off like once a game, and they're expecting it to work 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like they're expecting it to be the main way of getting out, and it's just not. It's not the quality.
So the first goal, when the first goal happened, who would you say was the man at fault? Would you say it was?
It's got to be Fred.
I've heard like two sides of it, where it was saying Fred made a couple of mistakes losing the ball like near the edge of the box, and Leicester didn't like capitalise, and he obviously tried to pass it back to the keeper and played it short.
Yeah.
And there's people saying with him making the 2 mistakes before, should Maguire have give him the ball whilst he was being tightly marked by someone, or should he have just cleared his lines?
He probably should have cleared his lines, but so as you know, I studied law. We have like a thing called like the thin skull rule, where it's like just like you can't like judge something on what could happen type of thing. So if that's the right pass to make, regardless of if he's made some mistakes, you expect him as a fully competent footballer to get that ball and be able to deal with it, and he just didn't. Like, it's simple as that, really. And obviously I was singing Fred's praises the other day, saying that he's been good recently, but he had a shocker. Let's be honest. It happens to the best of them. His just happened to result in a goal.
I would agree that it was probably Fred's fault. I just wanted to point the question to you, because that's what I've seen it a lot on like multiple social media platforms.
I think it's
kind of split.
People are just trying to find another reason to attack Maguire. If that's the tactic is to play out from the back. That was the pass to make, really. Like, he could have just hoofed it upfield, but if they're committed to playing out from the back, then that's the pass he has to make. He has to trust his teammate to be able to deal with it. Yeah,
I suppose that's probably the midfielder's job as well, to obviously come short and ask for the ball, to bring the ball out from the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it should be Maguire's fault. It was definitely. I mean, the pass was shocking anyway. The pass back to Henderson.
That's what I mean. It was a good 6-yard shot.
Yeah, but I think when United equalised it, when in at 1-1, you kind of thought they're not playing well, but they're in level. So maybe we couldn't get much worse, so they should come out, better than what they've done first half, and it kind of went the other way.
Yeah, as soon as they scored that second goal, United gave up. Just sat back and invited more pressure. They Vardy should have scored at one point, I know that. And there's a couple of chances where I just thought, we're lucky to still be at 2-1 at this point. The best we can hope for is take it to extra time or something. But, as United do, just flattened it from another set piece, didn't we?
Yeah. The draw was made at half time as well, whilst it was 1-1. So the winner of that game got drawn with Southampton, and then Man City got drawn against Chelsea. So I think maybe looking at that draw, it could have given more incentive as well, to whether they got told who they were going to get in the next round, or whether they didn't tell them. And obviously we don't know that, but if they did know, then you'd think that they would have come out and fancied themselves against Southampton in like a semi-final to get through to a final.
You'd have to think so, wouldn't you? And we got not 45 minutes, because they'd probably beaten us by the 80th minute, but we got a good half of the dream that was that, the All Manchester final, the Derby final, and then it was cruelly snatched away from us by Leicester. Bastards.
Yep. That was the thing that we've been talking about on like previous podcasts, that it could be a Manchester derby final. Then we had it in our hands pretty much, and then not for long, and then it was just taken away. So
we dared to dream.
What I wanted to say as well about the United game is I've watched United obviously for the past few weeks now, and whilst watching them, I've kind of thought that maybe like Bruno or someone like that just needed a rest, just be pulled from the team, give him a rest, and then for him to be put back into the team. But I don't feel as if that was the right time to put him on the bench for that game.
Yeah, I agree.
In an FA Cup quarter final, with an international break coming up, I just
yeah. There's got to be easier matches
like,
coming up where you can rest him.
Yeah, like games that have just gone by as well. Like rest him in one of those games. Why do it in an FA Cup quarter final, whilst on top of an international break now?
Yeah.
You know, it just boggled my mind, and I just thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got that one wrong.
So yeah, I thought the tactics were all wrong, to be honest. But hey ho, what can you do?
Well, so I think it's just the Europa League now for United, isn't it?
Yeah.
That like trophy wise.
That's all. Yeah, that's all we've got going for us now.
But they are the favourites in that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see us go to shit against someone there as well.
I think if it was, I'd probably fancy United over two legs, over any of them teams that are in the competition left. But as I say, you've got the chance of an all English final as well.
Yeah.
Against Arsenal, so that should be interesting. Moving on from the football, the UFC.
Don't forget though, speaking of Arsenal, that game against West Ham.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Did you watch that game, by the way?
I watched bits and then the highlights afterwards to catch up with the bits I missed. Cracking game.
I felt like banging my head against the wall with West Ham.
Yeah.
They're just like, I think it before the Man United game when we chose to watch the West Ham United game instead of the North London derby.
Yeah.
And we were, I was like, I can't wait for the way West Ham played at the Etihad and stuff. They're quite attacking, they're playing the counter attack, they're quite quick on the counter attack, and they just completely abandoned that at Old Trafford. And then against Arsenal, they were awesome going forward, went 3-0 up quickly, and then just went all defensive again, and then just threw it away. And I was just like,
why?
Like I was just watching. I was just thinking, what are they doing? Pretty much.
They had that chance to make it 4 as well with Antonio. That was a close one. I mean,
he probably should have scored it, to be fair.
He probably should have, but I understand he was stretching to just get anything on it. Like he's done well to get a touch, and it's just a shame it doesn't go in. But if it does, that might have changed the game completely.
I just think they were there. West Ham, when I've watched them when they've been at the best, is when they've counter-attacked, and when they were 3-0 up, they knew Arsenal was going to come all guns blazing, which would have left space. So why not carry on that counter-attack? You could have probably got another couple of goals, to be honest. But they literally just got everyone back, and there wasn't even attempting to go forward, and that was pretty much the downfall. And that could cost them top 4.
That could very much. Especially if like Liverpool and Spurs and them can chain some wins together.
Well, Spurs beat Aston Villa, which was a good result as well. So I think they're only like 3 points off top 4 now as well, which is crazy because they're just super inconsistent. But at the moment, you'd probably not seeing that top 4 change now.
No, I'm struggling to see someone breaking into there. But we shall see in the coming weeks, I suppose. Yeah, right. So, as you say, moving away from the football onto the UFC. The main event from the other evening. Derek Brunson defeats Kevin Holland by unanimous decision. I mean, it was the story of the takedowns, I would imagine. 6 takedowns landed for Brunson.
Yeah, I didn't see Brunson winning, to be honest.
No? I didn't think he would win, but on seeing the fight, he definitely won. Like,
Yeah. Obviously, I think it was obviously watching the fight, it was one way.
Yeah.
I just didn't see when I was looking, like obviously predicting it. I didn't see him winning.
No, I didn't either. I thought Kevin Holland would win.
Yeah, I thought Holland would just take care of it and then obviously move on. But it wasn't an entertaining fight. As I was saying just then, it's the most entertaining bit was when he was speaking with Khabib during the at the end of each round. And he was asking him for some wrestling advice.
Yeah. So that's what Kevin Holland does.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it wasn't really. It wasn't great, to be honest.
Yeah. And in other UFC news, Alexander Volkanovski has tested positive for COVID, and his fight versus Brian Ortega, which was due to be on the next card, which is next weekend, or this weekend, I suppose, because we're on Monday, is now going to be moved to a later date. Sad news.
Oh, yeah. I was looking forward to that as well because Brian Ortega looked awesome in his last fight.
Yeah.
And then obviously Volkanovski's. He's just awesome anyway, isn't he? Really, but that could have been probably up there with Fight of the Night, I think.
Yeah,
and it just depends on when they're gonna. Well, how bad? Because we've seen it with Chimaev. He's still like having side effects now, isn't he? So it just depends on how he recovers from it. Yeah. Hopefully it's soon because I want to see that fight.
Paulo Costa as well is another one that's had to pull out of a fight due to the complications, but as we learned, he was training while he had COVID, so that's his own fault probably. But yeah, that's a sad one. But big UFC card on the weekend. Looking forward to that. Can't wait to talk about that on Thursday.
Possibly doing a watch along, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm down, totally down. So that should be good.
I think for like the UFC news, I think there wasn't much about that card really.
No,
so we only previewed the main event anyway, but
yeah. For me, there was a fighter on it was a female fighter on the main card. I never know how to pronounce her name. It's like Cheyenne Buys or whatever her name was.
Oh yeah.
When I watched her on Dana White's Contender Series, she was so good. And like she started shit talking the woman in the middle of the fight, and the referee told her off, and she's like, "Sorry." Like halfway through the fight, she's apologising for shit talking. So I was
Kyle in Prague then.
Yeah. Sorry. So I was excited to see her fight, but she lost by decision, and her husband fought on the undercard. He got knocked out as well. So bad night for the buys.
Oh, rough night. They've got to go home and be like.
There was a few Contender Series fighters on there actually. What was his first name? I can't remember his first name, but Yanez. I think it's Adrian Yanez. He got a knockout on the Contender Series. He won by knockout in the third round as well. So it's good to see them getting a shot and getting onto cards as well.
Yeah, I was just whilst we're talking about cage fighting and stuff. I had a little chat with Paddy the Baddie on Twitter.
You've been at it again,
I asked him. Yeah, I asked him because he was speaking about the fight that was coming up.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I was asking him, realistically, when does he see himself moving over to the UFC?
His celebration told him to give him the call, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he said, he replied to me before the fight saying he sees himself winning this fight and then obviously moving over. And he won by sub in round one.
Yeah.
And then he was obviously celebrations after the fight. Obviously, you've seen it, so maybe that's something to look out for as well. Maybe he has he moves over to the UFC now. Maybe.
Yeah, we could see the baddie in the UFC. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. It was a quick sub as well, like 90 seconds or something, was it? So quite.
He said he was on Twitter quite a lot during the build-up, saying that he was going to end him in the first round and whatever. But yeah, I think it's always a big jump, isn't it, coming over to the UFC?
Yeah.
So
It's not always a successful one as well, but I guess we'll just have to see, won't we?
yeah, it'd be interesting.
Who would you give him in his first fight?
Depends on what they want to do with him, really.
Yeah, if they want to build him up or whether they just want to be like, we want to show you that you're not worth much and destroy you instantly.
Yeah, because I know we've seen. I know Michael Chandler was with obviously Bellator, but he's literally he was obviously champ, but he's coming in and had one fight, and now he's fighting for the title. I know Paddy the Baddies, obviously he was like the lightweight champ. I know he lost. I think he lost one, but then he's on a win streak again.
Yeah,
so whether
they'll
they'll
3-fight win streak.
so whether they'll just send him over to the UFC and then give him a solid opponent straight away, like a ranked opponent, or whether they'll give him a non-ranked opponent. I don't know.
Could be interesting.
It'd be interesting to see how they do it.
Something to look out for, definitely.
And that lightweight division's
Stacked.
full of very, very good fighters, aren't they? So
I did see Justin Gaethje. I can't remember what social media platform it was on, but he said he woke up this morning expecting to sign a fight agreement with Chandler, only to discover that him and Oliver are now fighting for the title, and he was like, I don't know what to do now, but it actually feels good. Like, it feels good to be free or something. So don't know what's going on there. And briefly to mention the fact that the UFC have decided not to renew Megan Anderson's contract as well. So she gambled it all on that fight and did not come away well.
no, I mean, maybe there was that. Obviously, she might have had one fight left, and then she got absolutely destroyed, didn't she? And then they just thought,
I just think they don't see a future for that division, so they're not going to keep hold of that weight of fighter, basically. They're just going to let her go off to, like, Bellator or something and do it there.
Possibly. You never know with the UFC, though, do you?
No. Like, Megan Anderson's a really good fighter. She's just not on Amanda Nunes' level, sadly. But no one is.
I'll say none of the women are, so
Exactly.
that's pretty much that. I think she'll just dominate, won't she? For years to come, pretty much. It's depending how long she wants to fight for, anyway.
Yeah. So going from one domination to another, we'll move on to the cricket. All was looking well until you reminded me to turn it on. Oh god. So India posted like 225, something like that. And England were cruising along at 125 for 1. I turned it on and it soon turned to 145 for 5. So I'm not allowed to watch the cricket anymore, basically. India absolutely blowing England out the water by about 60 runs, something like that. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I was watching it and we got off to a really good start. I think it showed like the start of where they was in after like
just
12 overs or something like that, and we were just heading out. I texted you and I was like, oh, do you know what, this is gonna, we're
really
doing well here
poised
to chase us down.
Yeah.
And then it just fell apart. Couldn't hit a boundary to save our lives. It was like ones, twos, wicket. And it was just, I turned it off in the end.
Yeah, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, his over was like the dagger. It going for 2 and getting the wicket of Butler, it was just like, yeah, it's done.
Yeah. It was very disappointing because we tipped England to win that 4-1, so to lose it 3-2 isn't
quite go that way. Yeah, there's definitely questions to be asked there. First of 3 ODI starts tomorrow at 8 AM, so God knows how that's going to go. If Kohli keeps batting the way he's batting.
How many ODIs is there?
3.
3?
Yeah.
I'm going to go England 2-1.
I don't know, the way
we have to win one of them.
The way Kohli's batting at the moment, I'm probably going to go India 2-1. But, we can hope.
Let's say we've got to win one format, so
yeah, might as well do the one that we won the World Cup in, I suppose.
So yeah,
we won the World Cup on an overthrow. That was actually scored wrong, but that's a debate for another day. So speaking of hope, and in this tradition of me using the last thing to go into the next thing. France beat Wales in the rugby to keep the Six Nation hopes alive. They need a convincing victory against Scotland in the game in hand, the one that was postponed, to take the Six Nations from Wales. But they did end, obviously, Wales's hopes and dreams of a Grand Slam.
What a game.
Yeah, great game. I didn't watch it, but I did follow the score.
Yeah, early on it was tries galore. It kind of calmed down a little bit. And then near the end of the game, France got a red card. So they were a man down. And then 5 minutes later, Wales got 2 yellows, which put them out of the game because there wasn't enough time left for them to come back. So even though France had a red card, they were a man up, which is weird. But and then I think France scored a try in the 75th minute.
Yeah, it was late. I did read that.
To put them, that put them back into the game, and then they scored their final try in like the 83rd, I think it was, the 83rd minute, to then obviously win it. It was such a weird game. Good game though. I don't see France beating Scotland by 20 points. So I think I'm not saying they can't do it at all, but it's going to be like a long shot. So every time they've only the games they've won this year in the Six Nations, they've only battered one team, that was Italy, and everyone batters Italy. Beaten 50 points to 10. The rest of the games they've won by 3.
Yeah.
I think they've won by 3, won by 2, and then England beaten by 3. So they've been really tight games, all of them. So I can't see them rolling up and demolishing Scotland. So I think Wales will be fine. But from England's point of view, they got hammered by Ireland. But I want to stay positive, and I want to say, even though they finished second bottom, Wales finished second bottom last year.
So there's always hope. And
turned it around this year. So there's always hope. I think the England's team is too good to not turn it around as well. So I do see him bouncing back, but it was just a terrible Six Nations campaign.
And then, as predicted, Scotland battered Ireland, Italy. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's about. I've seen the stats somewhere, and I forgot how many games they lost, like in a row in the Six Nations, and
I think I read it was the 6th wooden spoon in a row.
Yeah, they're awful.
Is there any point in even them being there at this point?
No, I've said it for quite a while. I don't. They need to do something with it because it's just.
It's like with 1 free win for each team, basically.
Yeah. Like I can't remember last time they won a Six Nations match. It's just abysmal. I'd say they're turning up like every year to get smashed. Like the games aren't even close.
Can't be fun for them either, really.
No. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird. But I know that they were talking at one point about doing like a promotion relegation type of thing.
Yeah.
And having like obviously you've got your usual suspects in the top one. So if Italy come last again, then they'd be relegated to the league below. Who they're going to put in that lower league, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know who you'd throw in there, but I'm sure there are teams like.
They were talking about Japan, to be honest.
Japan have always been like an alright side, haven't they?
Yeah, they've beat some good teams, especially at like the World Cup and stuff, and they're better than Italy, put it that way.
Yeah. Not hard, by the sounds of it, anyway.
No, but I would, if I was in like this fucking Six Nations, I would definitely speak about doing something different with Italy because they're awful.
Right. Well, I think that's everything I've got to cover, unless you've got anything you want to cover.
Not that I can think of.
No? Awesome. Then, as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when videos go live. Check out the description for Twitter and Twitch, and over on Twitch now we are affiliates, so you can subscribe. You can get a free subscription if you link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and you can then use that once a month to subscribe to hopefully us, but if not us, anyone for free. Anything else to add?
No, I think we're going to be, as I said earlier, we might be doing the watch along for the UFC this weekend, but probably just keep an eye out on Twitch as well.
Yeah.
We do, obviously we stream on and stuff like that, and then you can interact with us live.
Exactly. And if we do the watch along, we will post the video here to YouTube as well afterwards, for those people that aren't, you know, like us, insomniacs that never sleep. So, but yeah.
But I think that's it. I'd say we'll obviously do another video like usual on Thursday, but it'll be for the football. The football will be for the England games.
Yeah.
That'll come up.
Games. That's true.
So, we'll preview that, and then obviously the UFC and stuff, and we've got White Povetkin too. So we've got, even though there's no Premier League on, we've still got a lot of things to discuss and debate.
Busy weekend ahead, right? So, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.